What is happening to my religion during the ongoing Mahakumbh is forcing me to contemplate how any incident is exploited by a section of people to malign it using the sophisticated academic tone, sketching historical narratives which are half baked and far from the reality. In an opinion piece written for the Indian Express, a Delhi University professor of history has cited Mahakumbh as some manifestation of transformation of Hinduism into an Abrahamic style religion. In the mentioned piece, it has been argued that Hinduism has embarked towards more codified, performative, and mandatory form. The reason that has been astrained to this analysis is the alleged centralization, popular urge to travel to Prayagraj at any cost, and among others. It has been argued that the incidents of chaos and stampede have risen due to that, and people are somehow behaving irrationally because Abrahamic style processions, mass scale show of devotion, has taken precedence over the self realizing feature of Hinduism. As the questions have been raised on the religious aspect, it is prudent to put these arguments on the litmus test of religious values only. The writer has argued that traditionally Kumbh has never been the ultimate destination for pilgrimage. Such a false claim is concerning and cannot be validated by any sacred text or historical realities. In fact, the writer has herself contradicted her argument in the latter part of its piece. The concept of dham and tirth has been categorically defined in our ancient texts and has long been enshrined in its practice. Kumbh, a tirth that happens at four places, are tirth because of being observed near the river banks. On top of that, considering the latest Mahakumbh as some symbol of centralization is a sheer ignorance of what is happening across the country. From north to south and east to west, India comprises of hundreds religious sites and they are not vacant for last month or more. And if the centralization is argued because believers all across India giving preference to Kumbh, then it raises the question on the understanding of the commentator. Kumbh Mela takes place after 12 years. In such a case, it would obviously become the first choice of people. For the better understanding of the negligence, Kumbh is predominantly not revered because it happens after 12 years, but because the celestial position of stars and planet is nearly similar to when Amrit drop fell at four different places. It is the same reason that Shahi Snan was renamed to Amrit Snan this year. In such a case, the government's aggressive promotion and people's massive urge to be part of it is not centralization but the self realization of the Hindu ethos. Moreover, the writer also backed her argument of centralization, stating that several water bodies once served as the cities for Kalpavas, but now the landscape has changed into unilinear mass participation one. She forgot to vet her premise as various riverbanks apart from Sangam in Prayagraj were flogged by Kalpavashis this year too. Even at the small scale, like Gonti River in Namisharanya in Sitapur district, the Kalpavas was observed. The writer must go through the religious history of Naimisharanya and then see how the individual level self realization practice is still prevalent in Hinduism. The fact of the matter is that the writer is diagnosing the disease she is suffering from. In Prayagraj Kumbh, over 10 lakh Kalpavasis stayed from Posh Purnima to Maghi Purnima. They, along with million others, silently strived for self-realization, but the writers and many others, for that matter, ignored that because what is coming out in reels and videos is chaotic slugfest over newly born babas or controversial Mahamandaleshwars. While in TFI, we have raised these red flags previously, but painting the whole Kumbh in bad light and exaggerating some kind of centralization theory while ranking Stampede is no less than absurdity. Meanwhile, the claim that earlier less people, mostly elderly, traveled to Kumbh while rest settled with Prasad to vilify mass scale participation is utter nonsensical gimmick to tarnish Mahakumbh. Be it Kumbh, Badrinath or Kedarnath, less people traveled in past because the resources and facilities were not available back then. The writer wants people to not travel to Mahakumbh by their vehicles so as to pay condolences to our past fragile economy, poor road infrastructure, and vehicle less population. It is a fact that Hinduism is a pluralistic religion which cannot be binded to a book, a prophet, or a deity, but it is also a fact that faith is a personal conduct of a person that cannot be questioned by any other's observation of religion. Mahakumbh has always been an event of mass scale. The community level celebration on the form of mandals and mandalis have been the practical aspect of following the religion. Citing it as exempt and exclusive of Hinduism is to pull it to the level of Abrahamic religions and is an unnecessary outcry to malign Hinduism. Hinduism is indeed evolving with time and is proving itself relevant for masses even when the other religious principles are falling short to fulfill the scientific and logical aspiration of the populace. Despite being grand and ancient, Hinduism is a time tested and most remarkable philosophy. No doubt that honey attracts the ants, but sweetness can't be blamed for it, neither the natural instinct of the ant. If a pristine and clear picture of contemporary Hinduism is to be painted, it can't be done on the basis of headlines crafted with preferential urge of clickbait, neither it can be done by creating exaggerated hypotheses.